Stefanski is one of an outstanding coach. All right. But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever.
After last night's disaster show from Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders fans are in full-blown revolt, flooding social media and demanding Coach Kevin Stefanski finally make the switch. The outrage isn't just noise anymore. It's a movement that's spiraling out of control, and the calls for Sanders are getting louder by the minute. At first, Cleveland's media tried to run cover, blaming the defense and downplaying Flacco's collapse.
I don't care if you put in Milt Plum. I don't care.
What a reference.
You got Shedeur Sanders. Why is Shedeur not in there? Well, I don't know. Are you sitting in the back of the meeting rooms with scout team receivers?
But fans aren't buying the spin. They see the truth with their own eyes, and now independent analysts are stepping in, openly saying it's time for Stefanski to roll the dice on Sanders. The pressure is boiling, and the excuses are running dry. Supporters are firing off tough questions at Stefanski. Why keep riding with Flacco when it's obvious he can't keep up with the speed and brutality of today's NFL? Analysts are backing that up too, saying his arm looks tired, his decisions are sloppy, and the game has flat out passed him by. Rex Ryan didn't sugarcoat a thing. He straight up declared Flacco's run as a starter is finished. He even went so far as to remind everyone that Flacco was never really elite in the first place. And now, years later, he looks even slower against today's defenses.
He can't play anymore. He couldn't play 8 years ago. He's your starting quarterback. Give me an absolute break.
That kind of blunt talk just poured gas on the fire, fueling the growing demand for Stefanski to act now. And honestly, fans aren't wrong to be furious. Flacco's performance was nothing short of humiliating. He opened the game looking steady, but it all crashed after a shocking throw right into the arms of Detroit's defense. That interception wasn't some small slip-up. It completely flipped the momentum, handed the Lions the upper hand, and sucked the energy out of Cleveland's offense in one brutal moment. What could have been a manageable night turned into a nightmare as Flacco crumbled under pressure, failing to recover or make the clutch plays the team desperately needed. The Browns don't just have a problem at quarterback, they have a full-blown crisis, and the more Flacco stumbles, the clearer it gets that change is inevitable.
Well, we made mistakes, the first pick was on me. Anytime you get, you give a chance to give this team a little bit of momentum and play from the lead, that makes them that much better. That's part of the reason why they're a good football team. So when you turn the ball over like that and you give them good position and you don't really allow our defense to pin their ears back and do their thing, then you're going to struggle as a whole.
Even Flacco himself admitted his failures, telling reporters the blame was on him, not Jerry Jeudy, even after Jeudy slipped on his route. "That was on me, not him," Flacco said, owning the ugly pick six to Lions safety Kirby Joseph. But while his honesty might win respect, it doesn't erase his ugly stat line. 16 completions on 34 attempts, just 184 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a costly fumble. Cleveland fans are left wondering, how many more disasters will it take before Sanders gets his shot? Criticism came pouring in fast after the meltdown, but Flacco didn't offer much of an explanation for the fumble or the endless mistakes. One thing's clear. This was a nightmare of a game he'll be desperate to erase from memory. Sure, Joe Flacco did the veteran thing and took responsibility, but let's be real. These weren't just unlucky slip-ups. These were the same bad habits that keep popping up again and again. And in one of the game's biggest moments, instead of seizing a golden chance at a touchdown, he gift-wrapped another interception for the defense. That turnover didn't just kill the drive. It gave Detroit premium field position, and they punished Cleveland for it with ease, storming down the field before finally being pushed out of bounds. It was another painful reminder of how quickly things can spiral when Flacco is under center.
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating, Mary Kay, because we know you can't do those things and expect to win on the road, and so I got to get it fixed.
At this point, it's almost impossible to picture him earning another start this season. Coach Kevin Stefanski didn't exactly protect him in his post-game comments either, saying the Browns can't afford mistakes like that on the road. That sure sounded like a not-so-subtle warning shot at Flacco's future. And let's not ignore the fact Stefanski gave rookie Dillon Gabriel some reps. That move spoke volumes. It's becoming more obvious by the day that Cleveland's future lies in the hands of fresh, untested talent. Yet somehow, Stefanski keeps dodging the obvious move, giving Shedeur Sanders his moment. Even Rex Ryan has lost patience with the head coach. He straight up blasted Stefanski on air, demanding he stop playing it safe and let Shedeur take control of the offense. Ryan stressed that Sanders deserves the shot, saying fans and analysts alike need to see the full scope of his talent. According to Ryan, the Browns might be sitting on something special, but they'll never know if Stefanski keeps clinging to Flacco. The tension is sky high now, with Stefanski facing mounting pressure to finally pull the trigger and unleash Shedeur Sanders.
Stefanski is one of an outstanding coach, all right? But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever.
And Rex Ryan's words hit even harder after Sanders' own bold statement shook things up. He declared with zero hesitation that he's better than several quarterbacks already in the league, including Joe Flacco himself. After watching Flacco's latest disaster, who can really argue with him? Sanders' confidence is unshakable, and if he gets the chance to prove it on the field, he could be the game-changing spark the Browns are desperately searching for. The burning question now is simple. Will Kevin Stefanski finally give Shedeur Sanders the chance to prove himself? Through all the noise and frustration, Sanders has been doing his best to stay grounded. He's been reminding himself that everything happens for a reason and leaning heavily on his faith, trusting that God's timing is always right. But let's be honest, no matter how patient he tries to be, the constant setbacks and delays are starting to weigh on him, and you can see that frustration is eating away at him. Sanders has made it clear he's not rushing the process. He keeps repeating that he's sticking to God's plan, believing that when the right moment comes, nothing will be able to stop it. Still, the situation is getting harder to swallow. It's starting to feel surreal for him, like he's trapped on the sidelines while the whole world is calling for his moment. His faith keeps him steady, but the strain is obvious. And while Sanders is holding on tight, the fans aren't nearly as patient. They're demanding answers, blowing up timelines, and begging Stefanski to quit stalling. Analysts are chiming in too, and even big names like Rex Ryan are adding fuel, all voicing the same demand. Give Shedeur the reins already.
Everybody perspective, so that's not nothing in my place to answer. That's nothing I can't answer, but I know for sure I'm not. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
The calls are louder than ever, and the pressure is impossible to ignore. Flacco's struggles keep piling up, and the excuses are running out. Everyone can see the writing on the wall. Shedeur Sanders is the future, and the only question left is when Stefanski will finally stop resisting and let him take over. This isn't just about one ugly game anymore. This is about the direction of the entire franchise. Flacco's limitations are glaring, and every snap makes it clear that he can't keep up with today's fast-paced NFL. The patience of the fan base is evaporating, and Stefanski's hesitation is only cranking the pressure higher. At this point, it feels like he won't have a choice. He's going to have to bow to the demand and hand Shedeur Sanders the keys to the offense. The walls are closing in on Stefanski, and every week the noise gets louder. What once felt like a coach's strategic patience now looks like stubbornness, and the city of Cleveland is running out of excuses for him. Fans are tired of hearing about experience when that experience is sinking their season. The locker room whispers are starting too. Players know when a quarterback has lost his edge, and Flacco looks like he's running on fumes. Missed reads, late throws, and costly turnovers have everyone questioning how long this charade can continue. No one wants to say it publicly, but the vibe is clear. This team needs a spark, and Shedeur Sanders is the only one who can bring it. The analysts on national TV aren't holding back either. They're calling it a quarterback crisis in Cleveland, with some even suggesting Stefanski could lose the locker room if he doesn't act fast. Imagine that, risking your credibility as a head coach just to protect a veteran who's already proven he can't get it done. The longer Stefanski waits, the more it looks like he's gambling with his own future.
Everybody perspective, so that's not nothing in my place to answer. That's nothing I can't answer, but I know for sure I'm not. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
And while the drama builds, Sanders keeps stacking confidence. He's not out here doubting himself. He's doubling down. Every time he speaks, it's with the calm certainty of someone who knows he's built for this moment. That quiet belief is making fans rally even harder because they see the contrast. One quarterback breaking down under the lights, the other waiting with fire in his eyes. The Browns are at a breaking point now. Stick with Flacco, and they risk throwing the whole season away. Hand the ball to Shedeur Sanders, and they might just unleash the energy the franchise has been missing for years. The choice is staring Stefanski right in the face, and the pressure is turning into a roar that even he can't ignore anymore. Cleveland doesn't just want change, they're demanding it. The city's heartbeat is pounding for Sanders, and every snap Flacco takes feels like one snap too many. The situation in Cleveland has blown up bigger than anyone could have imagined, and sticking with Flacco at this point isn't just risky. It could sink the Browns' entire season. Even worse, it's starting to chip away at Kevin Stefanski's credibility with the fans, who are growing louder and more furious by the day. Shedeur's moment isn't just coming, it's right around the corner. And if Stefanski drags his feet any longer, he might lose the chance to pull the trigger on the move that could flip this team's fortunes overnight. So let's talk about it. What do you think about the tension between Shedeur Sanders and Coach Stefanski? Is it finally time to make the change and let Shedeur take over the offense? Or do you believe the Browns should stick with Flacco and give him more time to bounce back? How much longer can Cleveland afford to gamble before this spirals completely out of control? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear from Browns Nation on this one. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. And of course, leave a comment with your take on whether it's Shedeur's time to shine.